Reddit is a network of forums dedicated to different topics called subreddits. In today's video, I want to talk about a post that was on r/relationship advice. A post that kicked off something so shocking and devastating that no one could have predicted the outcome. r/relationship advice is a subreddit for Redditors that are willing to help out others in their various relationships. Whether it be romantic, business, or any other number of personal relationships one might have, they're there to help. My mother-in-law cut up my wedding dress. I hate her so much. I don't know how to move on. My boyfriend replanned our canceled trip from last year as a solo swimsuit photo shoot for my friend, and now my husband is experiencing morning. My sister is mad that I'm having an arranged marriage. I'm having a hard time coping with my wife having cheated on me with our neighbor. On October 29, 2016, a Reddit user by the name of Jason in Hell created a post on the r/relationship advice subreddit. It was titled, "I'm having a hard time coping with my wife having cheated on me with our neighbor." I'm gonna go over the first post here. It's a bit of a longer story, but it's totally worth it and necessary to get the full picture of what happened. He starts off by saying that his wife cheated on him over a year ago, and he decided to stay with her for the kids, and she cheated on him with their neighbor, and he's still having a hard time with it. So in May of 2015, he started getting suspicious when she created a password on her phone, which she had never done before. She said it was for a Father's Day gift and that she didn't want to ruin the surprise, so he couldn't look into her phone to ruin his gift. A week later, she said she had to get something off of her chest. She said the neighbor's building a home office for them as a Father's Day gift. Father's Day comes and goes, and she still has the password on her phone. And he notices that whenever she's looking at her phone, she's smiling to herself, And he's like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, nothing," and puts her phone away immediately. One morning, when she was getting in the shower, he managed to get into her phone. He sees a text from his wife to the neighbor saying, "I'm covered in frosting, would you like to lick it off?" And he thought, she wouldn't do this to me. Keep in mind, this is the year prior. This is before she had cheated on him. He's like, she wouldn't do that to me. And he wrote it off as her weird sense of humor. Time goes on, and the neighbor's spending more time at Jason's house, working on the office. But the office construction is going too slowly for that to really be the case. So he puts up a software on her phone to be able to see all of her text messages. The next day, he sees them texting each other trying to meet up, but it doesn't happen because of the neighbor's work schedule. So that very night, Jason, his wife, the neighbor, and his girlfriend all go out to dinner. The wife and the girlfriend decide it'd be fun to go see a movie. So Jason and the neighbor end up going back to Jason's house. And as they're sitting there, the neighbor and his wife are texting, while the wife is out with his girlfriend and while he's sitting there with his neighbor. They're texting like sexual stuff, and his wife is telling the neighbor that she's his, and the neighbor's telling his wife that, yeah, you are forever, stuff like that. The wife and the girlfriend return home later that night after the movie, and he sits all of them down and he confronts them, and they start denying it, and then he shows them the text that he has. And then they can finally confess, but they said they never had sex. They didn't have sex together. The neighbor's girlfriend says, well, if they're not having sex, it can't be that serious. What? I don't understand that lady. So the neighbor and his girlfriend go home, and Jason and his wife are arguing all night. And eventually Jason says, well, I'm just gonna leave. He says, I'm gonna leave you, I can't do this, we're done. And his wife says, I will make sure you never see the kids again. Jason had tried to commit suicide in high school, and she planned to use that against him so she could never see his kids again. So they argue all night. He doesn't want to lose his kids, but they decide to take a break while trying to figure everything out. The next day, Jason is at work, and he gets a text from his wife saying, the kids are upset, I told them what happened. And so Jason goes home, and he thinks that his son is just wrecked over this, which he probably is, because he said that in his son's mind, mommy made daddy mad, so mommy has to leave, So if he's also leaving, that must have meant that his son made him mad. That's what was going on in his son's head. So Jason felt terrible and he begged her to stay. And she said, okay, I'll stay. But you have to apologize to the neighbor because our kids are friends and we're going to have to see him or we're going to have to socialize with them. So Jason agrees and he apologized to the neighbor. Again, what? I wouldn't have. So he apologizes to the neighbor, and then a year goes by and everything's fine until Jason makes this post. It's near Father's Day again, and she sends the neighbor lewd pictures, but she claims it's an accident. And the new picture incident that happened 4 months before he created this post. So that's the whole post summarized. And he's asking for help. What should I do? Like this, I can't stop thinking about this. It drives me crazy every day. What am I doing? Please help me. So Redditors respond. They respond with, I wouldn't have stayed. You need to get out of there. Everything you can imagine. But the overwhelming response was, you need to get a divorce. So he takes their advice and he posts this update. Instead of trying to fix something she doesn't want to fix, she has refused counseling several times in the past before this even happened. I'm going to get myself and my kids out. I meet with an attorney next week. Thank you, everyone, for helping me see how far I had my head up my ass.
Montgomery County 911, where's your emergency?
203 South Madison Street,
In what town?
Darlington.
Hey, what's going on there?
I just stabbed myself and I killed my 2 children.
You stabbed yourself and killed your 2 children?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what's your name?
Brandy Worley.
And where are the children at?
In my daughter's room on the floor.
In your daughter's room on the floor? Okay. And what caused you to do this today?
My husband wanted a divorce and wanted to take my kid. I won't let him have my kid.
Okay, and how old are your children?
7 and 3. 7.
7 and 3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And where did you stab yourself at?
In the neck.
Okay, are you bleeding?
Yeah, there's blood everywhere.
Okay, and where are you at?
In my living room.
You're in your living room?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and are you armed now with the knife still?
No, it's in my children's room.
Okay, are you still there? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, where's your husband at?
Downstairs somewhere.
Okay, what's his condition?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him.
And when you say downstairs, is he in a basement or?
Yeah.
Okay, what's his name?
Jason.
Is what?
Jason.
Nathan?
Jason.
Jason? Jason Worley?
Yeah.
Yes, that was Jason and Hell's cheating, murderous wife, Brandy Worley. She had indeed killed her 2 children, 7-year-old Tyler and 3-year-old Charlie. After what you just heard, Brandy's mom showed up at the house, and once she saw what had happened, she was obviously hysterical. The police eventually did arrive. She survived, and she went on trial. She initially pleaded not guilty, because of course she did. But then she eventually changed it to guilty and got sentenced to 120 years in prison. Days after the murder, Jason returned to Reddit for one more update to this story. I would like to give a heartfelt and sincere thank you for the advice and support I have received here. No one could have foreseen the tragedy that resulted from me filing for divorce. You guys perform a wonderful service to those in need, and I hope you continue to do so in the future. How do you do something so horrific and walk away a free man? Welcome to Creeper Nick. I talk about things that weird and creep me out. If you'd like to join me on this journey, please consider subscribing. If you liked the video, I'd appreciate it if you could hit that like button. Okay, grab your favorite beverage, sit back, relax, and let's begin. It was back in July of 2008 when Tim McLean, a carnival barker, which is someone who tries to attract people to come into the circus or fair, was working a fair in Edmonton, Alberta, up in Canada. He finished his day working and he hopped on a bus headed towards his home in Winnipeg. When he got on the bus, he decided to sit in the back, kind of by where the toilets are, like 1 or 2 rows ahead of that. A little while into the bus ride in Erickson, Manitoba, a new passenger got on the bus, and his name was Vince Lee. To paint a better picture of Lee, he was a very tall man. He was in his 40s with a shaved head and sunglasses. When Lee got on the bus, he sat in the front, kind of by where the bus driver was. After a scheduled bus stop, Lee got up and went to the back of the bus and sat next to Tim McLean. And Tim didn't really pay him any mind. He just looked over and nods, and then puts on his headphones and falls asleep on the window. So the scheduled stop is over and the bus continues on its path towards Winnipeg. And then at some point in this ride, seemingly out of nowhere, Vince Lee pulls out a knife and begins to attack Tim McLean in the chest and neck. Now I could attempt to explain what happened and paint a really good picture, but I think it'd be best just to hear it from an eyewitness. I believe this interview was conducted the night that all this actually happened, and I will leave a link below to the full 7-minute interview. The guy's clearly in shock from what he saw.
I was just reading a book. All of a sudden I heard a guy screaming. I turned around and the guy sitting right next beside me was standing up and stabbing another guy with a Rambo knife. Repeatedly. Told everybody to get off the bus. Everybody started to get off the bus. Everybody got off the bus. Me and a trucker that had stopped and the Greyhound driver ran up to the door to maybe see if the guy was still alive or we could help or something like that. And when we all got up, we seen that the guy was cutting off the guy's head. He saw us. He came back to the front of the bus, told the driver to shut the door. He pressed the button and the door shut, but it didn't shut in time, and the guy was able to get his knife out and take a swipe at us, so we backed off the door, and then we both returned to the front to see what had happened, and he hadn't gotten off the bus. The door was still open. We shut the bus door that time and shut it. It was at that point that he came, started walking to the front of the bus, and he had the head in his hand, and he just looked at us like this and dropped it on the ground, like, totally calm. And the bus driver disabled the bus somehow in the back. I'm not sure how he did it. It was at that point, I think, that the police showed up and kicked us off, got us to the back, the end of the bus there. Nothing, just totally calm. The guy that he stabbed was listening to his headphones and sleeping.
The poor guy is definitely still in shock. And I mean, what normal person wouldn't be? So the attack happens and everybody's off the bus. The police arrive at 9 p.m. I'm not sure how long after the attack this was. And a standoff begins with Lee. Police say that they can hear Lee in the bus yelling, "I have to stay on this bus forever." And they also witness him eating parts of Tim McLean's flesh. Tim McLean's poor mother even heard on the radio that someone had been attacked in a bus, murdered in a bus. And she felt super bad for that person and prayed for them at dinner. And then later found out that it was her son. For 4 hours, Lee would pace the bus back and forth, occasionally eat body parts, and holding body parts up for all to see, like some sick trophies. You would think with Lee not having any live hostages or firearms, that this gruesome show could have been put to rest hours earlier, like maybe when the cops got there. And I'm not even talking about killing him. You have tasers. But hey, I wasn't there. I'm not going to pretend to know police procedure. At around 1:30 a.m., Lee tried to escape out a broken bus window. He was shot with a taser twice and then arrested. And upon searching Lee, Tim McLean's ear, nose, and tongue were all found in his pockets. Upon cleaning up the crime scene, police discovered that Tim McLean's eyes and parts of his heart were missing, which they believed that Vince Lee had eaten. Lee's trial started a little over 7 months after the incident took place, and he pleaded not criminally responsible on account of mental disorder. See, Lee had schizophrenia and claimed that he was hearing voices from God telling him that Tim was an alien and that he was in danger if he didn't kill him. And the judge agreed. The judge agreed that Lee was not criminally responsible for this act, and he was taken to Selkirk Mental Health Center. After a couple years being in Selkirk, it was reported that Lee was actually responding really well to treatment. Over the years, he was granted supervised visits to walk around in a town, and eventually unsupervised visits. But on February 10th, 2017, Lee was given an absolute discharge, meaning no probation, no restrictions. He was and still is a completely free man under the new name Will Baker. And I want to hear your comments on that. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, he murders, beheads, and then devours parts of this man. And not even 10 years later, he's free. He's completely free. As far as what I think it's wild. I know mental health isn't black and white. There's a lot of gray area. But the guy did all that and gets less than 10 years of even supervision. I believe in rehabilitation and that it can work. But just based on what he did, I believe at the very least he should have been rehabilitated and either put in prison or at the very least supervised at the mental health facility for life. But that's just my opinion. I'm excited to read the comments on this one. There's even an interview he did in 2012 where he said, I don't think I would do it again. Not, I will never do that again. I don't think I will do that again. He even had a second victim after his arrest by way of PTSD. One of the first responding officers on the scene, Corporal Ken Barker, took his own life, and his family said that he was suffering from severe PTSD from the Greyhound bus attack. It's a crazy story. I can't believe what happened on the bus. I can't believe he's free. I can't believe any of this. This is a story of the worst woman on the planet, at least that I know of. I know of some awful women. Eileen Wuornos, for example, killed 7 men. Casey Anthony, who may or may not have killed her own daughter. She apparently turned out to be innocent. Then there's Elizabeth Bathory, who in the 15 and 1600s killed a lot of people. For whatever reason though, in my opinion, maybe because it's relatively recent or just the story itself, which is horrific, this next poor excuse for a human being is the worst. In this case, I don't think hate is a strong enough word. I have nothing but whatever is harsher than hate for this woman. By the end of this video, after you hear all the details of this story, that you'll be just as pissed off as I am. That this lady even existed. Her name is Gertrude Benezuski. I was going to give a full backstory on Gertrude, but decided she's not worth the time it would take to include it in this script. What you need to know about her is that she was a divorced single mother living with her 7 children in 1965. This is where the sisters, 16-year-old Sylvia and 15-year-old Jenny Likens, unfortunately come in. Sylvia and Jenny's parents were traveling east with a carnival and decided to ask Gertrude to watch the teenage girls from July to November, telling Gertrude that they'd pay her $20 a week to take care of the girls. She agreed, and the Likens girls were now living with Gertrude. Everything started off fine, it seems like, with the Likens girls being included in family activities and going to Sunday school with other kids. But a few weeks into their stay with Gertrude, their father would send them money a day or two late here and there, and this made Gertrude very unhappy. She began taking it out on the girls, spanking their bare bottoms with a paddle and saying things like, "Well, I took care of you two little bitches for a week for nothing." In August, so about a month and a half after the girls arrived in their new terrible temporary home, Gertrude began to abuse Sylvia significantly more than Jenny. Gertrude started to force her to eat leftovers and spoiled food out of garbage cans. It was suggested that her motivation to just attack Sylvia was that Gertrude was jealous of her good looks and potential in life. This was only the beginning of the horrific abuse. Gertrude would ask Sylvia if she had ever done anything with a boy, and Sylvia, not thinking sexually, said, "I guess so," further explaining that she's gone skating with boys and went to a park beach with them. She eventually mentioned that she once laid under the covers with her boyfriend. Days later, Gertrude told Sylvia that she's getting big in the stomach, and it looked like she was going to have a baby. Sylvia jokingly replied, "It sure is getting big, I'm just going to have to go on a diet." Gertrude then told her and the other girls in the house that if they did something with a boy, they'd definitely get pregnant. She then kicked Sylvia in the crotch. Paula, one of Gertrude's daughters, then knocked Sylvia off a chair, telling her she's unfit to sit in that chair. Another night, when the family was eating dinner, Gertrude, Paula, and a neighborhood boy, Randy, force-fed Sylvia a hot dog that was overloaded with condiments, which she vomited up, and then they forced her to eat that throw up. Sylvia decided to retaliate against the abuse she was receiving from the family and at school, which Paula and Stephanie, another one of Gertrude's daughters, attended. She spread a rumor that they were prostitutes. This led to Stephanie confronting Sylvia, who admitted it. Stephanie then punched her in the face. Sylvia apologized and Stephanie began to cry, seemingly forgiving her. However, Stephanie's boyfriend Coy heard the rumor and attacked Sylvia, slapping her, slamming her head against a wall, and flipping her backward onto the floor. Gertrude found out and beat Sylvia with the paddle. Another day, yes, it just keeps going and getting worse for Sylvia, Paula beat her in the face, focusing on her eyes and mouth, so hard that she broke her wrist, which needed a cast. That didn't stop Paula though, who then later would use the cast to beat Sylvia even more. Gertrude would force Sylvia's sister Jenny to beat her as well. If she didn't comply, she would receive the beating instead. Eventually, Coy, Stephanie's boyfriend from earlier, and more neighborhood boys would come to the house to help Gertrude and her kids abuse Sylvia, which included using her as a practice dummy for judo sessions, lacerating her body, burning her with lit cigarettes over 100 times, and severely injuring her genitals. At one point, Gertrude forced Sylvia to strip in the living room and masturbate with a glass Pepsi bottle in front of everyone. Gertrude eventually stopped letting Sylvia go to school. Sylvia and Jenny were afraid to tell anyone as they feared it would just make everything so much worse. Sylvia became incontinent, which is the uncontrolled leakage of urine. To punish her for this, Gertrude threw Sylvia in the basement and tied her up, naked, starving, and rarely given any water. Gertrude started charging neighborhood kids 5 cents apiece to see Lycan's body and to be able to do what they wanted with her. She would place Sylvia in a bathtub with scalding hot water just to rub salt in the wounds. Gertrude's 12-year-old son would rub urine and feces from the 1-year-old's diaper into Sylvia's mouth. Gertrude once again allowed Sylvia to sleep in a bed as long as she didn't wet herself. When she did, Gertrude forced Sylvia to shove a Coke bottle into herself and then ordered her to the basement. A bit later, Gertrude yelled for her to return to the kitchen, where in response to the prostitute rumors about her daughters, she took a hot needle and carved "I'm a prostitute and proud of it" onto Sylvia's stomach. Some of the neighborhood kids helped with the carving and added more themselves. The abuse just keeps going on and on and on, and eventually Sylvia would tell Jenny that she knows that she's about to die. Gertrude forced Sylvia to write a letter to her parents, framing some of the other boys for the beating and saying that she'd ran away from Gertrude's house. On October 25th, Sylvia overheard Gertrude talking to John about a plan to abandon and leave Sylvia to die in the woods. She attempted to escape, but being so weak she was unsuccessful. She was beaten and put back into the basement. Later that night, Sylvia started screaming and beating a wall with a spade, hoping to get the neighbors' attention, which she did. A neighbor of Gertrude's heard the noises and noticed it was coming from the basement, but when the noise abruptly stopped at 3 a.m., she decided not to inform the police. The next morning, October 26th, Sylvia was weak and could barely move her own limbs. Gertrude tried to feed her unsuccessfully. Later on in the afternoon, back in the basement, Sylvia was pointing at the people she could recognize and say their names. That night, Stephanie and Richard, a neighborhood boy, would give Sylvia a nice bath and dress her in new clothes. Then when they laid her on a mattress, she would mutter that she wished her daddy was here, and that she'd wish Stephanie would take her home. Sylvia stopped breathing, and Stephanie attempted mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. She was unsuccessful. Sylvia had died. Gertrude would beat Sylvia's corpse with a book, shouting, "Faker, faker," before ordering Richard to call the police. She would try to have all the kids and neighborhood kids stick to a different story, but their kids, it fell apart very quickly, and she was arrested. Gertrude was found guilty of first-degree murder. Paula Banazuski, her daughter, the one responsible for most of the beating, aside from Gertrude, was found guilty of second-degree murder. They both got life in prison. Richard Hobbs, Coy Hubbard, and John Banazuski were all found guilty of manslaughter, receiving sentences of 2 to 21 years. 20 years after the death of Sylvia, Gertrude went to a parole hearing, which gained a ton of outrage from nearby residents and anti-crime groups. There was a petition of over 40,000 signatures demanding that Gertrude remain locked up. During the hearing, Gertrude said she wishes Sylvia's death could be undone. She then went on to downplay her role, saying, "I'm not sure what role I had in her death because I was on drugs. I never really knew her. I take full responsibility for whatever happened to Sylvia." The parole board barely voted in favor of granting parole. That's right, this fucking awful waste of space was released 20 years after Sylvia's death. During a retrial, Paula, who besides Gertrude, again was one of the worst abusers, and was 17, almost an adult at the time, decided to plead guilty to voluntary manslaughter. She was resentenced to a term of 2 to 21 years. She tried to escape from prison twice, but was released in December of 1972, only 7 years after Sylvia's death.
It was a shock for a small Iowa town.
A convicted killer hiding her identity was teaching in their high school.
Kevin and Stacy, it happened in the town of Conrad, just north of Marshalltown in Grundy County. And tonight, a 47-year-old crime is the talk of the town.
One of their teacher aides, Paula Pace, is a convicted killer. In 1965, she was Paula Banashevsky in Indianapolis. She was a member of a family that tortured and killed a neighbor girl, 16-year-old Sylvia Likens, in the Banashevsky home.
I don't think that she should be working with children in a school.
It's been moved to second, move into closed session.
Apparently, the school board agrees. After meeting in a closed session Tuesday night, they voted to fire Pace. The board refused to answer questions about the controversy, questions about how this could have happened, why Pace's killer passed went undiscovered for 14 years.
Now, we tried to ask what Pace lied about on her employment application with the school district, but the superintendent, Ben Petty, said neither he nor the board would have anything else to say about that tonight.
Our story begins in 1984. A man by the name of Joseph Fritzl and his wife Rosemarie lived in Austria. They had 3 sons and 4 daughters together. One of the daughters was named Elizabeth. Elizabeth was a bit of a wild child. In 1983, when she was 16 or 17, she ran away from home to live with a coworker, but she was eventually found and returned home. When she got home, she decided to get back into her waitress course, and in 1984, she had finished it and was offered a job at another city. But before she did that, on August 28, 1984, Elizabeth would go missing once again. Her mother, Rosemarie, would file a missing persons report, hopeful that she would be found rather quickly, like the last time that she went missing. About a month passes with no leads or updates to the case, so she's already been missing for more time than her previous stunt. This is when Joseph, her father, brings a letter to the police from Elizabeth. The letter was postmarked from a city that is about 90 minutes away from where they live. She would write that she's tired of living with her family and that she was staying with a friend. She would warn her parents not to look for her because if they did, she would leave the country. Joseph told the police that based on some of her behavior that he believes she joined a cult. Despite her threats of leaving the country if they continued searching, they still kept looking. Years later, in 1992, a 9-month-old baby girl was found on Joseph and Marie's doorstep with a note from Elizabeth asking them to look after the child, which they did. 2 years after that, in 1984, another baby girl was found on the doorstep in a pushchair. Rosemarie would shortly after receive a call from Elizabeth asking them to take care of the child. Once again, they would take in the baby. 2 years after that baby was taken in, a 15-month-old is discovered in the same manner as the previous 2 girls. Joseph and Rosemarie would raise these 3 children and continue living life for years as they had done before without Elizabeth. Then in April of 2008, 24 years after Elizabeth went missing, this family's world would be turned upside down. On April 19th, 2008, an unconscious woman would be found on Joseph and Marie's doorstep. She had a note on her. It was revealed that this woman was Kirsten, Elizabeth's 19-year-old daughter, her firstborn, who she could no longer care for, the note said. So an ambulance was called and Kirsten was on her way to the hospital. It wasn't looking good and the doctors were very concerned. One doctor in particular, Dr. Albert Reiter, noted that the girl's very pale skin and missing teeth were very suspicious. He decided to use the hospital's public relations department to reach out to Elizabeth via a big media campaign. He would go on to say that Elizabeth was needed at the hospital to provide some very important medical information, and that Kirsten's situation was getting bad. Well, the cry for help from the doctors, police, and media helped. On April 26th, so a week after Kirsten was admitted to the hospital, Joseph informed Rosemarie that Elizabeth decided to return home after 24 years. Elizabeth, along with Joseph, would show up to the hospital. When police caught wind that Elizabeth had made it to the hospital, they quickly detained her and brought her down to the police station for questioning. Once the questioning started, Elizabeth would start by saying, "No one will believe me anyway." When the police decided to change their strategy of interrogating her, instead, they started asking her if she was the victim. And she said that she would tell them everything if she never had to see her father Joseph again. The police agreed, and Elizabeth told them what really happened. On the day that Elizabeth went missing on August 28, 1984, her father Joseph needed her help. He was repurposing the family's basement. He needed her help getting the final door in place. Once she helped him and he got that door in place, he surprised her by forcefully holding an ether-soaked rag up to her face until she passed out. He would lock her in the basement, her new prison, where she would stay for 24 years. He would abuse her in unspeakable ways, over 3,000 times in that time span. The 3 children who were left on Fritzl's doorstep were indeed hers, and Joseph was the father and the grandfather. She gave birth to 7 children in total. 3 were taken care of upstairs by Joseph and Rosemarie. 3 would live downstairs, including Kirsten. The 7th, unfortunately, passed away shortly after birth because Joseph refused to seek medical attention. He burnt the body. The notes that were found throughout the years were written by Elizabeth. She was forced to write them by Joseph. Joseph's wife, Rosemarie, had no idea any of this was going on. When Kirsten became ill, Elizabeth talked Joseph into taking her to the hospital. Then when the media begged for Elizabeth to come forward, she talked him into letting her go. I don't think he expected the police to show up and separate them. So back to the present, Kirsten was put into a coma and eventually came out of the coma and had a full recovery. Elizabeth and all her children received the help they needed mentally and physically. They needed physical help because the ceiling in the basement was only 5'6", and some of the kids, at least, were taller than that, so they were getting problems because they couldn't stand up straight. Today, they reside in a village that hasn't been named and live as normal as a life as they possibly can. There was a little bit of tension between the downstairs kids and upstairs kids for a while, for obvious reasons, and then there was problems between Elizabeth and Rosemarie because Elizabeth didn't believe that she didn't know that she was down there. But from what I've read, the kids and Elizabeth and Rosemarie have patched things up and they're all good now. After a 4-day trial in 2009, Joseph pleaded guilty to the vast amount of charges, which included murder by negligence for Michael, the infant son, who didn't make it. He was sentenced to life in prison. As of April 2019, Joseph is still locked up. He will be for the rest of his hopefully shitty life. His health is declining, and he doesn't want to live anymore. Grant Amato may very well be the world's biggest simp. A simp is someone who shows excessive sympathy and attention toward another person, someone who doesn't reciprocate those feelings in a pursuit of their affection. I know what a fucking simp is. That's what Google told me it was, in case you didn't know. Basically, the way I understand it is a simp is a dude who obsesses over a woman either in real life or on the internet that they have no chance with, but they continue to be unironically cringy in the hopes that they'll get some attention, sex, from that said lady. Enter Grant Amato, who had become obsessed with a Bulgarian cam girl named Sylvia, who currently to this day goes by Addie Sweet. He was so obsessed with her that he would end up stealing $200,000 to talk to her and get pictures and videos and all the fun stuff you get from cam models. He had a huge problem. He also, from what he said in interviews, really actually believed that they had a relationship going. Like, he thought this was going to go somewhere. It was such a big problem, in fact, that his parents were threatening to kick him out. He was around the age of 30 at this point, so he tried therapy and a rehab center, and after that, not even weeks would go by, and he would start talking to Sylvia again, which led to an argument between him and his father, and he was going to be kicked out. He had his final chance, and he blew it. You're out of here, fucking simp. Shortly after, on January 24th, 2019, his mother was sitting at her computer in the family office, enjoying some white wine, where Grant would sneak up behind her, pull out a handgun, and fire a shot into the back of her head. His father was home, so he would wait for his dad to come, make his way towards the room, and once his dad made it to the kitchen, Grant would shoot his father twice. Grant would then take his father's phone so that he could text his brother Cody and convince him to come home early from his job. So Cody did that. He got off work early, and we walked through the door of their home. Grant shot his brother and laid the gun next to him to make his brother look suspicious. He would flee the scene and end up at a nearby hotel for a couple of nights until the police were able to identify his car in the parking lot. He was then brought in for questioning and later was arrested. He was given a life sentence for each murder and will be in prison the rest of his life. The thing that pisses me off most about this case, besides him killing his parents, which is already fucked up, his brother, I listened to, an hour or two long interview. I'll try to find that and link that down below so you can listen to it. It sounded like his brother, at every turn of all of this, he was just trying to help him. Since as young as I can remember, I've always been taught that the number to dial when there's something bad going on, if I'm in trouble or if there's an emergency, the number to dial was 911. They'll try to help to the best of their abilities, and hopefully, everything will turn out alright in the end. Now, imagine being in a life-threatening emergency and fearing the worst, you call 911. To get help only to find out that the person on the other end of the line doesn't really give a shit. This is exactly what happened to Arkansas woman Deborah Stevens on an early August morning when she was out delivering papers. She was trying to navigate out of a parking lot and found herself suddenly in the middle of a flood, which was only getting worse. So she gets connected to dispatcher Donna Renaud, who just so happens to be on her last day of the job. And it doesn't take long to realize that Donna either just decided to mail it in today and doesn't care, or worse, is actually taunting Deborah. The next 20 minutes of this video will be the full 911 call between Deborah and Donna. It's heartbreaking, it's haunting, and it's the last 20 minutes of Deborah's life.
911, where's your emergency?
I have an emergency, a severe emergency. I'm in a flooding. My car veered off the road while I was doing my newspapers, and I'm flooded over here on the end of Kincaid, and it's all the way up to my windows, and I can't get out, and I'm scared to death, ma'am.
Okay,
Can you please help me really bad?
I need you to calm down. I need you to tell me where you are.
I don't know, ma'am. I'm on the end of Kincaid down here by these apartments. There's some apartments on Kincaid. I don't know what they're called.
What color is your
Park
vehicle?
Avenue. On the other side of Kincaid, at the very end of Kincaid Street, there's some apartments, and
Do you have a dark blue car, is what I'm asking you? What color is your vehicle?
Yeah, dark. It's gray SUV, lady. The water's all the way up to my windows.
Okay, hold on for me. Don't hang up.
And it's coming in my windows. I mean, I'm floating in water right now, ma'am.
And you're at close to the area of 5801 Kincaid?
Yes, ma'am. I need help right now. I'm soaking wet. I'm sick, and I don't know what to do, ma'am.
Okay, what's your name?
Debbie Stevens. Please help me. I don't want to die.
You're not going to die. Hold on for me.
Well, I'm scared. I'm sorry. I didn't know the water. I couldn't see the water when I came up on it, man. It just all of a sudden hit me.
And you're in a gray van?
I'm in a gray SUV, a Mazda CX-9.
And you are a paper person?
Yes, I'm a paper person. Please send somebody fast to get me. I'm scared.
Okay, listen
I can't swim. I can't swim. I'm going to drown.
You're not going to drown. Just calm down.
Well, ma'am, it's all the way up to my chest.
Okay,
please
listen to me.
hurry.
I understand. Hold on for me. Just
I'm
hang
scared.
up, okay?
I'm sorry.
I understand. It's fine to be scared. You have a right to be scared. Hold on for me.
I'm scared.
Did you go off the road into a ditch?
No, ma'am. I was in the parking lot of the apartments cutting through to go to my paper route because I couldn't go down 66th Street because it was flooded. And when I got to the end, I couldn't see the water in that driveway, and there was water everywhere. And it just took me away and started pulling me, just sucking me in, and then my car died. How long is it going to be, ma'am? My phone's going to die, and I can't charge it. It's going to get wet. It's all the way up to my neck almost.
Okay, hold on for me.
Hello?
I'm listening to you, so I said hold on for me.
Oh, God, please help me. Lord, please help me. I don't want to die.
Miss Debbie, I need you to calm down and hold on, okay?
Oh, I'm scared, ma'am. I'm sorry. I'm scared. I need the cops to come get me. I need somebody to help me. I'm scared.
Are you the only one in the vehicle?
Yes, I'm the only one in the vehicle with all my papers floating around me.
Okay, listen to me. Make sure
Yes,
you're in the
ma'am.
area of 5801 Kincaid.
I don't know what 5801 Kincaid is. I don't know. I just know there's two sets of apartments over there.
But she's not sure. Listen to me.
Listen
to me. If you're doing the paper, you got to know at least a little bit of where you are.
I can do this paper route over here, ma'am. I was cutting through to go to my paper route because I couldn't get down 66th
Tell me what
Street.
you see then. What do you see?
There's some apartments. That's all I see is some apartments. I don't know the names of any of these apartments over here.
What does the apartment complex look like?
I can't see them, but man, there's two sets of apartment complexes, one on the right and one on the left. And I'm in the back side of them back here in a bunch of grass. Looks like a bunch of trees.
Okay. I'm going to send somebody out there to you, okay?
What? It's already getting up to me. I'm scared. How long is it going to take?
I don't have an officer available, so it's going to take a minute. So I'm going to try to get somebody out there to you. Just hold on, okay?
I'm going to die. It's all the way up to my windows. I'm going to die.
You're not going to die.
I can't die. Oh, my God. I need to go and tell my mommy bye because I don't want to die. Ma'am, it's all the way up to me, ma'am.
Listen to me, Miss Debbie. Just stay on the phone with me. I'm going to get somebody out there to you. Just hold on and don't hang up.
My phone's going to die, ma'am, because it's going to run my phone because my phone's going to get wet.
Hold on for me.
I'm going to get out and swim. If I could, I would. But I don't know how to swim very well. I'm scared. And there's people over there watching me, and they're probably laughing. And they're over there looking at me.
People are looking at you, and they're not going to help you?
Two sets of cars over there, and they're just all looking at me like I'm stupid. I couldn't help it. I love it. They just started pulling me down the road.
Okay, hold on for me.
I got my lights on in my car. That's the only thing you can see. I just need help. It's getting bad. It's going past my steering wheel. I'm gonna drown. Please help me. Please help me. How long is it going to be, please,
Listen to me. I need you to calm down and hold on. Okay?
I'm just scared, man.
I understand that you're scared, but there's nothing I can do sitting in a chair, so you're going to have to hold on, and I'm going to send you somebody, okay?
Okay. Hello?
Hold on. I'm still here. Hold on.
Ma'am, please hurry.
Listen to me. I understand. Hold on for me.
Ma'am, they're going to let me die.
I'm not going to let you die. Why
Oh, ma'am, I don't want to die. I'm sorry, but I don't want to die today.
You're not going to die.
My SUV is ruined. Oh, my gosh. Somebody help me. My brand new SUV is ruined.
Hold on for me, ma'am.
I'm holding on, ma'am. That's all I can do. I'm scared. Because it's getting higher and higher, and my phone's going to die, and y'all ain't going to find me. I'm going to get sucked away.
Okay, just hold on for me.
And I can't swim. I can't swim at all.
It's going to be in the area, 5801 Kincaid Avenue. I'm on the phone with this female. She's stuck in a van. She's on a paper route.
I'm in an SUV.
And she's got water up to her chest. What color
Sounds
is it?
like it. Oh, please help me.
Ladder 1, be advised, it'll be a gray SUV.
And I've got my lights on inside. You can see me. Ma'am?
I hear you.
Did you tell them I got my lights on inside where they can see me?
Yeah.
Can you tell me how long it's going to be, ma'am? It's getting higher, ma'am.
I understand that you're scared now that the water level is getting high, but I don't know what else to tell you.
Oh, my God, I'm going to die.
You're not going to die. You're going to die.
I'm scared.
I know you're scared. Just stay on the phone with me, okay?
I'm scared. Somebody save me.
Am I not on the phone with you trying to get you some help?
Yes, but I need somebody to get me out before I die. I'm sorry.
You're not going to die. I don't know why you're freaking out. It's okay. I know the water level is high.
Scared.
I understand that, but you freaking out is doing nothing but losing your oxygen up in there, so just calm down.
But are they not going to come get me?
You said what? I'm sorry?
When are they going to be here?
As soon as they get there.
Well, how long is that going to be before I die?
Yeah, I know.
Man, my phone's going to die, and they're not going to find me, and it's going to ruin my brand new phone.
Do you really care about your brand new phone? I mean, you're over there crying for your life. Who cares about your phone?
I need to get out. I need to throw up. I need to throw up right now.
Well, then you're in water. You can throw up. It's not going to matter. If you got throw up on yourself, they'll still help you.
No, my car is fixing to catch on fire.
How if it's underwater?
It's turned on. I can't turn it off.
Your car's not going to catch fire in water.
Oh. It's making awful funny noise and smoking. Oh, my God, ma'am. It's all the way up past my door.
Just stay on the phone with me. I'm going to get somebody there to you. They should be there because I'm sending the fire out to you to help you out.
Oh, can I put you on hold? I need to call my mother-in-law so she knows I'm okay.
Okay, well, you're not okay, so you can call your mother-in-law when you're actually out of the vehicle, so no, you cannot call her right now.
Okay. I'm sorry. Will you pray with me?
In her vehicle.
Hello?
I'm here. I can still hear everything you're saying to me.
Will you pray with me, please?
You go ahead and start off the prayer, and I'll listen to you. I sure will.
Please just help me. Get me out of this water safely, dear Father. One of us have to happen to me, Father. Just be with me and protect me and help me, dear Father, please. Dear Father, help me. My vehicle is ruined.
Yeah, but it's better that your vehicle is ruined than you being swept away and nobody knows where you are. So just stay on the phone with me, okay?
I'm going to be swept away because my mom
No, you're not. You have nowhere to be swept away to besides the street that you're on. So just calm down, okay?
Well, I'm at the end of a street, but man,
right, I know. I'm looking at it right now, and at the end of the street is some bushes, so you'll be just fine.
Ma'am, it's getting all the way up to my chest, and
I know the water's up to your chest. Just stay on the phone with me, and I have an officer and the fire department coming out to you. So just hold on, okay?
Thank you. I'm sorry if I'm rude, but I'm scared.
You're not being rude. I know you're scared. Just calm down for me.
I'm scared. I've never had anything like this happen to me before.
Well, this will teach you next time. Don't drive in the water.
Couldn't see it, ma'am. I'm sorry, or I wouldn't have.
I don't see how you didn't see it. You had to go right over it, so.
No, ma'am. I was in a drive. I was in a parking lot. There was no water where I was at.
Okay.
And when I got to the end of the parking lot, I was looking for the road to get out into the main road. When I got to the main road, it was too late. There was water, and I couldn't see it fast enough.
The water just didn't appear.
I didn't see it fast enough. My headlight went out, and I couldn't see it.
Okay. It's okay. We'll get you help and get you out of there. Just hold on, okay?
Okay, ma'am. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And you're not the only one that's been stuck in the water. We've had some 80-year-olds that's been stuck too. So just calm down.
Scary. It's scary. Because I can't swim.
I think even though you can't swim, I think you can still stand up in this. How tall are you?
Taller, it's higher than me.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm only 5 foot tall.
Okay, well, you're not 3 foot, so you'll be just fine.
Okay. Well, the cops take me to my house. I don't live very far.
Of course.
Ma'am.
10-4. They're pulling somebody else out the water, and as soon as they do, they'll come to you, so just stay right there, okay?
I'm not going nowhere, ma'am. I can't go nowhere. I'm just praying. Will they take me home to my house, ma'am?
10-4.
Ma'am. Oh my gosh, it's getting even higher.
Okay, just stay on the phone with me. I know that you're scared, that's why I'm not hanging up with you, okay? So just stay on the phone with
Pick
me.
me up. Will they take me back to my house, please?
I don't know what they'll do.
If not, I can walk to my house. I live on Nipper Lane. I got animals in my house. I got to get home, too, and I got to go get some more papers so somebody can take me to throw them.
They're not going to take you and do all that. They'll take you and drop you off to the
I said
They have
he's gonna
other
take me
people to
home.
rescue as well, so you'll
No,
just have
that's not what I said. They take me home, and my mother-in-law is gonna come get me to throw the rest of my papers.
I don't know if they'll take you home. They're just going to take you to a dry spot. I don't know what they're going to do. When they get there, you have to ask them, because I have no
Mother-in-law
idea.
to come get me. I'll call my mother-in-law to come get me.
So you're going to have her drive out in this?
No, she's out doing papers right now, and she's the
Okay.
district manager for the Southwest Times Record. She's already out throwing around. I called her before I called you, and she was out throwing around. She's out in there, yes.
Okay.
You know how much longer it's going to be, ma'am?
As soon as I get there, I cannot give you a time.
Oh, my God. What time is it now, ma'am? Oh, those people are standing up in their balcony watching me sitting in this water. That's pretty rude.
A lot of people have called in on you, so I don't think that nobody's just sitting there. They actually called in, but they're not going to get themselves in danger because you put yourself in danger.
I understand that, ma'am. I understand that. I'm just scared.
I know you're scared.
And the water's creeping up, and in a minute I won't be able to talk to you when my phone goes crazy.
You'll be there before that happens, so calm down.
Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. What's your name?
Donna.
Donna, thank you for being here for me, Miss Donna.
You're welcome.
I'm just scared, and I don't know what to do. I can tell you when it rains again, I ain't never doing this.
That sounds like a good idea. Because, you know, Fort Smith's
And I've done
water
papers
is
for
just like
21.
it just
And I've
stays
done
on the
papers
street.
I've done papers for 21 years, and I've never had it like this.
Yeah, I think that's understandable, though. Hold on for me, okay? Fort Smith, please. This is Donna. How can I help you? For which address? Somebody put out a call for Barlink for Highway 58 and 8. Okay, then I can cancel it. They got the note. Barlink got the note. Thank you.
Oh my God, ma'am.
Yes.
It's done. My phone's gonna die.
No, it's not. Just hold on for me.
Ma'am, I can't. It's getting all the way up to my neck.
You can hold on. Just hold on.
Oh, don't hurry. I gotta pee so bad.
Yeah, I'm on the phone with the female now. She's freaking out, and she says the water's for her face. She was in her paper out in the area. 5801 Kincaid on the back side is all I got. Do you see the officer, ma'am?
No, I don't see nobody, ma'am.
10-4. It's going to be a gray
My windows
SUV.
are fogged up. I got my lights on, but I don't see nobody.
Do you hear the fire trucks?
Rushing water, ma'am. I can't hear nothing.
Okay, well, don't cry, and then don't talk, and then let me know if you hear the fire department.
Don't what?
The fire trucks. Tell me if you hear the fire trucks.
No, ma'am. All I can hear is rushing water. I see flashing headlights over there, but I think that's somebody's car. I hope they're not broke down, too.
Literally, 5801 Kincaid is what she said. No, she doesn't see her, and I don't hear the apparatuses either. Are you close to Oakbrook Apartments, ma'am?
Yes, I'm over here by these two sets of apartments. Yes, ma'am. At the end of the street. At the very end of the street. That little
Yes, at the
circle, or
end
whatever
of
it
the
is.
street in between those two apartments, yes.
Right behind those.
Okay,
right behind
hold
the
on. Listen to
apartments
me.
on
I
the
cannot hear you.
on the
unless-
left-hand side,
Okay,
ma'am.
hold on for me. Hold on.
Sorry, ma'am. Sorry. Ma'am, it's just getting
Gray
so hot. My
SUV.
phone's going to die. Ma'am.
Hold on for me. Do you see the fire department?
No, ma'am.
Pumper 7. Do you see her vehicle?
My lights are on inside if you can see my lights. My interior lights are on.
Are you on the park side? Are you in the parking lot side? Are you on the road?
Ma'am, you go down you go down that street that runs in between those two apartments right there, and I'm on and the street goes to the end, and my car veered off to the left, and I'm behind these last set of apartments on the left-hand side. I'm behind them. I guess it's a circle down there. I don't know. I've never driven down on this part. I don't know,
She
ma'am.
said she's in between both apartment complexes on the street at the dead end.
In the very back side, there's a bunch of trees.
Right there.
The back
She showed us
side.
5801 at the end.
the back side of these apartments over here, where these people are at, they can all see me. They're all standing out there watching.
Miss Debbie, you're gonna have to shut up, okay? I need you to
I'm
listen.
sorry.
Listen to me.
Yes, ma'am.
Can 10-4. Can you start your? Is your car still on there? Like, can you honk your horn?
My horn is dead.
Okay, hold on for
My
me.
horn is dead.
Okay, hold on for me.
Everything is dead.
Listen to me. Hold on. Who, fire? Are they really?
It's even higher. It's all the way past my doors.
Hold on for me. Don't hang up.
Ma'am, please. My
Hold
car
on
is
for
in the-
me. Hold on. Ladder 2.
Oh, my God. And it's getting higher and higher. And it's getting... Oh, my God.
Number 7 is needing you in the area, 5801 Kincaid Avenue.
Oh, Lord, help me.
They're trying to come to you. The whole parking lot is flooded. They're trying to find you, okay? So hold on for me.
Oh, I'm at the very back of the end of that road on 58th Street. That's what street that is. I didn't know, ma'am. Oh, my God, my car's starting to move. Oh, man, my car's starting to move. Please.
Okay, listen to me. I know. I'm trying to get you as help as I can, okay? Just hold on for me.
Okay, ma'am, please.
I
don't
know
wanna
you're
die,
scared.
please.
I know. Hold on for me because I've got to take other calls plus you and listen
Okay,
to all this
ma'am.
traffic. So just hold on for me,
ma'am.
okay?
Okay, ma'am.
hold on
Okay.
for me.
Okay. Dear Lord, please just get me out. Dear Lord. Please help them find me. Dear Lord, please. Dear Lord, please.
Station 1. Number 7 is wanting you to go ahead and clip up the boat and get it ready if they should need you.
Ma'am, it goes away at once.
Okay, I know. Listen to me. They are in the area. They are trying to find you. They cannot find you right now. I'm trying to ping where you are, so do not hang up because this 911 call is helping me ping your location. So don't hang up on me. Okay, where are you moving to? Tell me where it's going. Okay, tell me where you are. Listen to me. Hold on. I'm on the phone with her right now. She is legit freaking out. She said the vehicle is now moving in the water and she doesn't know which way it's going, so stand by.
Unfortunately, it would take 58 minutes after the call had dropped to recover Deborah's body, where CPR was attempted, but it wasn't successful. The 911 dispatcher, Donna Renaud, would face no consequences for her behavior on the call.